Okay, well, um, I thought I'd just talk a little bit more about myself, just not so much about my family though. uh, just other things that people might find relatable, and particularly if you have allergies. And um, heck, I guess even if you don't have allergies, you might relate to this if you have like certain foods you just don't like the taste of. Um, just think about what it's like when you go to a restaurant and it's almost humorous though. Like you gotta create humor out of it. If you don't, you'll just get cranky. But I'm not a really cranky person, and I'll just try to find humor in it. Um, like when I order, like if I order tacos or I order a salad, um, or if I order some sort of vegetables or shrimp or fish, I have to order it with no cheese. Uh, and I'm laughing because sometimes the waiter and waitress reaction are kind of funny. Like the way they look at me at that moment is like as if I've spoken in another language. Like, what is this no cheese you speak of? They don't say it, but you can just see the expression on their face. Not all of them react this way, but there is enough that I have noticed. They just look like, what? And they kind of scribble down in their little notepad, and then the platter, it comes back with cheese on it. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, but I ordered this with no cheese. And I don't do this to hassle anybody's life. I'm honestly lactose intolerant, and I'm gluten intolerant as well. So that means I really can't eat wheat. And I really gotta put emphasis on the wheat part because too many people, when you say I have an allergy to wheat, they think I say weed a lot. So, there's been quite a few times people thought I was talking about marijuana. It's like, what? No. So a lot of times you just have to say gluten so that they don't get confused. Because and then nobody really knows what gluten is, so then it still confuses them. So it's like, great. They either think I have an allergy to marijuana, and then look at me suspiciously because they think I said weed. And it's like, well, if I just said I have an allergy to it, then clearly I'm not using it. Not that I use it, I do not, but it's just like even more obvious if I had an allergy, clearly I'm not using it because dear God, if you have allergies, you don't want to have that what you have an allergy to in your system. Um, it's not going to kill you or anything. You're not like allergic to it severely, but you get sick or other crap happens to your body that does not really make life very fun. So yeah, but uh, as I was saying, I order my meals at restaurants and then they bring back the platter with cheese. There's cheese on my beans, there's cheese in my taco, and it's like they look so confused. Even when I say, I'm sorry, I ordered this with no cheese, they just look so confused, like, what am I talking about? And then you always have to go through the explanation of, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. I can't have anything with milk. I have an allergy to it. Then they kind of have this look of, oh, okay, like they think they understand, and then sometimes they still look confused, and sometimes they still, then they do seem to get it. Like it finally dawns on them what no cheese means. Like, oh, that's the meaning of no cheese. Like, what, do you think I order with no cheese just to make your life difficult? No, I tried to be the least bit of difficult as possible. I order no cheese and no croutons and no bread and no crusted things and no butter, no sour cream because I don't want to suffer the consequences from eating that. um, and I don't want to suffer because of your lack of disagreements with my allergies. uh, I think the most annoying part though is when people look at you as if it's a lifestyle choice. Like I chose to have allergies. Like, oh yeah, I woke up one morning and just decided to have an allergy to one of the most delicious foods in the world, cheese. And oh yeah, I just woke up and decided to have an allergy to something that seems to be in every food item in the store. Wheat, gluten. And if you are not gluten intolerant and have no intolerance to wheat, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But you'd be surprised where you can find gluten and wheat. It's very difficult shopping. I'm so glad they have such a variety now of foods that are gluten free because it's very difficult shopping. Though I do wish they would lower the prices a little bit because being that it seems to be a diet trend, they seem to up the prices up on gluten free products, and it's like, damn, I can't afford all this. And I really can't. It's very expensive. But it is nice that, if I'm craving cookies really, really, really bad, or I just want some mac and cheese, I can head on down to Central Market and actually find a gluten-free, dairy-free mac and cheese, and it's really good too. Actually, it's really good. Um, and they have some cookies too. And, oh goodness, I love sweets. I love sugary things, cakes, cookies. I love them all. But you get it. It's really difficult dealing with those reactions from people sometimes when they look at you like you've chosen to be intolerant, like it's a lifestyle choice. It's like, no, I did not wake up one morning and decide to have allergies. It just happens. And sometimes you can develop allergies. Um, I haven't been tested for this, but I can't have too many grapes or I get extremely sick. And um, yeah, pretty much that's about it. I will get very extremely sick. Um, and I cannot eat figs because my tongue will feel like you have just given me fiberglass. Um, and also I don't know what's in there, but Italian sausage. That one's a little bit more worse. My throat will swell up and I cannot barely even breathe. That happened to me twice, and after that, I learned my lesson to really keep an eye out and make sure that the sausage and spaghetti or whatever is not Italian sausage. Because, well, I like breathing like everyone else. So if anybody watching this has an allergy or something, maybe you could just open a discussion up about what that's like and your experiences as well. And heck, if you don't have an allergy, go ahead. Just share your thoughts on what that's like when you order food at a restaurant and maybe you just don't like the taste of something. Because I'm sure you can at least a little bit sympathize what that's like ordering something and then the waiter or waitress looking at you like they're confused. Like, why the hell would you not want that on your plate? Another part that gets difficult going out to eat is when it's not the waiter or the waitress hassling you, but it's the chef. Um, there's this one in particular, Fuzzy's Taco, I will not go to. Simply because the chef always gets the order wrong, and it doesn't matter if you have an allergy or not. Um, like for me, I'm lactose intolerant, so I would always order food with no cheese. And it's almost like you could feel the vibes coming off of this chef. Like she is insisting that that's just wrong for me to order with no cheese, and like I need to have cheese on there. Um, I'm not really sure what she finds offensive about me ordering it with no cheese. But I don't know how to place it other than it just seems like she's offended. And she has tried sneaking cheese in my food or has just deliberately put cheese on it anyway. And I always have to take it back. And you could just see she's unhappy that I always send it back because there's cheese on it. It's like, even though I have gone through explaining I'm lactose intolerant, but again, like I said, some people seem to be offended as if an allergy is a lifestyle choice or something. And I still remember one time getting a platter where she had put sauce on my tamales, and when I went to go cut my tamales, I mean, cheese, it has this certain texture and stretchiness about it. You're like, that's cheese. And a certain flavor to it. I mean, there's no denying when you're eating cheese, okay? And I could see when I cut into my tamale and it was just stretching out nice and gooey, and I'm like, that's cheese. That is cheese. It's like, so she's a sneaky, sneaky lady and really tried sneaking that cheese in there. And I felt bad for her fellow employees, because you could just tell they were frustrated with her, and you could just tell she was probably very much so a bitch to them. Because there was a lot of times she would blame them for getting the order wrong. And, we're looking at the receipt, and, we're looking at the order that they took, and it's like, we can see you didn't mess up, dude. I mean, it's right there. You typed in no cheese. Um, so she didn't even take responsibility or own up to what she was doing. She would always just blame whatever whatever other employee was there with her, even though they're not back there with her. She would just blame them at the register. And yeah. And it felt so bad for the other employees, because sometimes they were like, sorry ma'am, our fault, we should have typed in no cheese. And sometimes people even looked at them and were like, look, I saw you type in no cheese, I know you didn't get this wrong. I don't know what her problem is back there, the chef, but she was very bad attitude. And it wasn't just the allergy thing. I mean, my family, they don't really have allergies, and they would order their food too. And sometimes, they would order it a little differently. And she just had to insist it was always going to be done the way she wanted it to. And it was like really, really weird. Like, wow. Um, you know, so yeah, we no longer go to that Fuzzy's Taco, that particular one. I have nothing against Fuzzy's Taco. In fact, I love their tacos. So, of course, I'm going to other Fuzzy's Tacos. I mean, I really do love their tacos a lot. There's not a lot of tacos that just make me go, oh yes, especially because I can't have it with cheese like other people. Um, but their tacos, even without the cheese, it's like amazing and really, really good. And I absolutely just find it delicious. I love it. But that one in particular, oops, Fuzzy's Tacos. Yeah, that chef she was something. Okay, she was something. Um, well, another thing about having allergies, it's like really, really weird, is reactions from normal people, just everyday average people. Um, this is actually, to me, these are like really funny reactions. Like, like when you're talking to people and you end up get to talking about how you have an allergy to milk, and so lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant. Some of the first thing people do is they reach out as if to, I mean, it touch your shoulder or something, and they just look at you with the deepest sincerity, and they're like, I am so sorry. And it's like, I'm not dying. I just got an allergy. um, Sorry, it's the funniest thing, and then I feel bad for them feeling bad. And I'm like, hey, it's cool. There is still a lot of other things I can eat. But inwardly, sometimes I'm very, very tempted to look at them and say, I know I have like the rest of my life to live, and that's it. That's all the doctor said I have. Or be like, I have 5 years left, something, just because the reaction is like so bad. It's like, yes, I'm expected to live 20 years left, less than the average person because I'm not getting enough nutrients from not eating gluten. So, I'm tempted, but I never really do anything that mean. But sometimes I get very tempted. It's just the funny reaction that people give, like as if I'm dying or something. It's like, oh, I'm only dying about as fast as you are. So, no sooner, no later. Yeah. uh, you know, so that's what it's like having allergies. Yeah, and I said I wasn't going to talk about my family, but I even have reactions from my family. Um, Occasionally, uh, not so much, but sometimes things occur where I can't eat something, and so I don't. My family is actually one of those people that seems to sometimes act like they're offended by me having allergies, like it was a lifestyle choice. Um, and it's like, and they more than anybody know very well that I do have allergies, so it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like that's just one of their ways of trying to lash out at me, and so they do. Um, Sometimes I get the eye roll, like because I won't eat a certain thing, or you get it. They just pretty much act offended too sometimes, like some people do, like it's a lifestyle choice, and it's not. Um, so now that I've shared my experience with having, uh, you know, allergies and intolerances, I would like to hear other people's, experiences and what's that like for you? Do you have the same problem at a restaurant? Does any of your family members or friends give you the same hassles? Do you get that look of that where some people just act like you're fixing to die? It's like you're gonna live as long as everybody else. Or hassles from waiters and waitresses and chefs. Or maybe you haven't had much problems at all. Maybe it's just difficult trying to avoid the foods you shouldn't be eating, or avoid things you have an allergy to. Maybe you don't eat them. Maybe you just have an allergy to other things like cats. I'd hope that you're not eating cats. That would be a little weird. But yeah, and maybe you don't have allergies. You just have experiences with waiters and waitresses and chefs, nonetheless, like everybody else does, because sometimes they're not that friendly. I don't know. They just had a really bad day, or if they are just flat out an asshole. Um, just life is life, I guess, and things happen. So, I guess I would just love to hear everybody's thoughts, and everybody just kind of share uh, with each other, like what you go through. Um, but yeah, that's about it. All I was going to share. So have a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whichever it is when you're watching this, and goodbye.